right, so on these questions, we're looking at question number 27 that says, what is the value of the y-intercept for the graph h of x 29 times 5.2 to the power of x? For the y-intercept is always when x is equal to 0. So that means h of x is going to, or let's say h of 0 is going to be equal to 29 times 5.2 to the power of 0. That means 5.2 is going to give me 1. 29 times 1 is going to give me 29. So my answer for h of 0 is going to be 29. So you, in your bubble answer sheet, you would answer 29. Number 28. Okay, the graph of the quadratic function. Which is the best that represents the best function that represents the graph of this situation? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my zeros of the graph. So my zeros of the graph, I have x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 6. Okay, so that means that when I talk about this in my equation, I have x minus, it's going to be opposite when I put it in parentheses, times, in order for x to be 0, I'm going to have x. So I'm going to go ahead now, I'm going to distribute my x. So that's going to give me x squared minus 6x, which is our answer choice, H. The reason that I have, think about it, how I would find this. In order to get those two zeros, I would set that equal to 0. That would give me x is equal to 0 and x minus 6 is equal to 0. Solve for x. Well, this one's already solved. That would give you x is equal to positive 6. So that would give me the two zeros of that graph. Number 29, which expression is equivalent to this standard form? So I know I have factored answers, so I'm going to factor this. Since we're looking at the factored form, we're going to have to do slip and slide. Ooh, this is going to be fun. So this is going to be x squared minus 22x. 5 times 24 is going to give me plus 120. I'm going to maybe use some of my answer choices or some of my values. I know I'm going to have a positive and I'm going to have a, actually, hold on. Both of these need to be negative. So that's going to eliminate A. And that's going to eliminate D. So now my answer choices are either B or C. I'm going to have X, and we know we're going to have X. So I'm going to try to use some of my answer choices. Both of these have 5 and 1, so let's see. So I'm going to try 5. So 120 divided by 5, that gives me 20, C is equal to 120, and then B is going to be equal to negative 22. 120, that's 24 times 5. 24 minus 5, that's not going to work. Let's try 10. 10 times 120 divided by, 120 divided by 10 gives me 12. So 12 times 10. If both of those are negative and I add those together, that would give me 22. That works. So this is going to be negative 12 and negative 10. We're going to bring back our A value, which is 24. Uh, 12 divided by 24, that's going to give me 1/2. So that becomes 1 and 2. That 2 goes in front, so this becomes 2x minus 1, which gives me this one. So that means the next one probably will be the same. 12 divided by 24. That also gives me, hold on. That should have been 10. 10 divided by 24 would be a big difference. There we go. That's going to give me 5 and 12. The 12 goes in front of the x. So that gives me 12x minus 5, which gives me my answer choice that's correct. And we can double check by foiling. So I can say, let's see, we're going to go ahead, let's check it in FOIL. So I'm going to FOIL that back out. So I'm going to say 12 times 2, that's going to give me 24x squared. I'm going to do 12 times -1, that gives me negative 12x. I'm going to do negative 10x, and then positive 5. Combine like terms, that gives me 24x squared minus 22x plus 5. Yep, that works for our original quadratic. Number 31, a system of equations is graphed on the grid. Which system of equations does this graph represent? Okay. So the easiest way to do here, first off, is eliminate some of my equations. I'm going to figure out what the slope is first, and that might help me eliminate some of my answer choices, possibly. All right, so that one has a perfect point there, and another perfect point there. It's going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so negative 6, and then 1, 2, 3, so positive 3. So this one has a slope of negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, hold on, wait. That's going to be negative 6 over 3, which gives me negative 2. So that eliminates G, that eliminates F, because they have a slope of positive 2. H and J have a positive slope of negative 2. Okay, so now looking at our answer choices, I'm going to look at the Y-intercept of the one that I just found the slope of. Okay, because looking at some of the differences, it has this equation has both a Y-intercept or a positive 1 slope, so that means there's no difference there. The negative 2 slope equation, this one has a Y-intercept of negative 2. This one has a Y-intercept of negative 4. This equation here has a Y-intercept of negative 4, so then that means that has to be my answer choice. All right, and I don't even have to go any further. All right, last question. 31, the table represents the points on a graph of an exponential function. Now, a reminder, exponential function is y is equal to a times b to the power of x. This a value is your initial value. That means that's your y-intercept. So that means that is the coordinate point 0, a. So looking at my function, this point here is 0, 18. A is equal to 18. So that eliminates the answer choice A, and that eliminates the answer choice B. Now, the B value represents whether or not we have a growth or decay. Okay, looking at my Y values are getting larger. Negative 12, 15, 18, 21, 25. That means we have a growth. So we want our B value to be greater than 1. Looking at B, 6 divided by 5 gives me 1.2. That is larger than 1. D, 5 divided by 6, that's going to give you 0.83, which is smaller, so this one would be decay. So by default, our answer choice has to be B. You could also use stat progression on this to find your answer and use the exponential to get the function. But this is the most faster, quickest way to do this, and you should just be just fine, as long as you understand that these numbers are getting larger and the difference between growth and decay. I'll see you in the next video.